Prince Harry and Meghan Markle now showing off their brand new baby boy.
Ian Lee is at Windsor Castle, where the royal couple just introduced Archie.
The Duke and Duchess of Sussex couldn't take their eyes off their newborn son as they introduced him to the world.
The Sussex story has entered a new and unexpected phase, as Prince Harry now faces mounting scrutiny following a statement raised in the UK Parliament that places his son Archie at the centre of a controversy long rumoured but never openly confronted. 4 years, questions and speculation have followed the Sussex family, particularly surrounding the circumstances of Archie's birth, yet official silence and controlled messaging kept those doubts largely contained. That silence is now being challenged, reviving unresolved concerns about transparency, media relationships, and internal royal dynamics that Harry himself has previously acknowledged when speaking about the strain caused by tabloid narratives and family tensions. The situation has intensified public interest, prompting renewed examination of events dating back to October 15, 2018, when Kensington Palace announced Meghan Markle's pregnancy just hours before the couple departed on an extensive international tour. While the announcement itself was celebratory, its timing stood out, as royal pregnancies are typically revealed after the 12-week mark, not immediately before a high-profile global engagement that guaranteed continuous media coverage. As the pregnancy progressed, public attention shifted from the announcement to Meghan's appearances, where observers noted what they perceived as notable fluctuations in her baby bump's shape and position, sometimes within short time frames. Supporters emphasized that pregnancy can vary widely due to posture, clothing, body type, and fetal movement, all of which are medically valid explanations, yet critics argued that the frequency and degree of visible change felt inconsistent with normal variation. These doubts remained largely speculative until May 6, 2019, when Buckingham Palace announced Meghan was in labor, only to later reveal that Archie had already been born earlier that morning and that Meghan was no longer in the hospital, an unprecedented departure from long-standing royal birth protocols that typically include immediate notification, detailed timelines, and signed medical verification displayed publicly. The announcement itself drew further scrutiny due to its wording, referring to Prince Harry by his legal name, Henry, and omitting the customary use of the title Prince, choices that, while technically correct, differed from prior royal announcements and raised questions about intentional precision in language. Additional attention followed Meghan's decision to amend Archie's birth certificate 11 days after his birth, listing her title rather than her full legal name, a move some viewed as standard formality while others interpreted it as deliberate restraint. As Archie's early images were released, they were notably limited, carefully staged, and often unclear, leading to public debate over whether the extreme control reflected simple parental concern for privacy or something more complex. Speculation deepened when a now-deleted social media post attributed to Marcus Anderson, a close associate of Meghan, appeared on the day of Archie's birth suggesting he had become a father, a coincidence that fueled further conjecture despite alternative explanations. Subsequent scrutiny extended to Archie's appearance, including claims about a birthmark and comparisons drawn online, as well as discussion of his red hair, a trait that, while genetically plausible given Prince Harry's recessive genes and Meghan's potential to carry the same, nonetheless became another focal point in a broader narrative driven by unresolved questions. Together, these elements have resurfaced as part of a larger reassessment of the Sussex timeline, leaving Prince Harry confronting renewed public pressure as past ambiguities return to the forefront and the long-standing controversy surrounding Archie's birth refuses to fade quietly. And yet, despite clear genetic explanations, conspiracy narratives dismissed those facts and instead promoted far more incendiary claims, suggesting that Archie's red hair was proof the child presented publicly was not biologically connected to both parents or that a red-haired child had been deliberately chosen to visually mirror Prince Harry. These allegations were entirely unsupported, yet they circulated widely across online platforms, gradually moving from fringe speculation into mainstream commentary. What began as rumors soon evolved into something more dangerous, because it no longer affected only the Sussex family but began to cast a shadow over the credibility of the monarchy itself. The notion that doubts about a royal child's legitimacy could spread unchecked posed a serious reputational risk, and commentators warned that when public confidence in royal transparency erodes, even baseless claims can become corrosive. According to royal analysts, this was the moment the institution determined it could no longer remain passive. While the palace could not respond to every allegation or dignify every rumor with direct rebuttal, it could act strategically to contain the narrative before it grew further. After months of silence, a shift became visible, not through direct denial, but through structural repositioning. The question then became how the royal family chose to protect itself, and the answer, critics argue, lay in its refusal to publicly acknowledge a reduced future role for Prince Harry's children within a newly framed monarchy. On September 9, 2022, one day after ascending the throne, King Charles III delivered his first address as monarch and reaffirmed his long-standing vision of a slimmed-down monarchy, one centered on the sovereign and the direct line of succession. Though the concept was not new, it was now framed as a necessity rather than a preference, justified publicly through arguments of fiscal responsibility, operational efficiency, and modern relevance in a Britain facing economic pressure and evolving public expectations. Fewer working royals meant fewer publicly funded engagements, clearer messaging, and tighter institutional control. However, critics immediately questioned the timing, noting that by the time Charles became king, the monarchy was already fractured, and that Archie appeared to sit uncomfortably at the center of that fracture. Meghan Markle had previously stated that she was informed Archie would not be granted the title of prince, with discussions about titles occurring privately behind palace doors. At birth, Archie was styled as Master Archie Mountbatten Windsor rather than Prince Archie, and while he was technically eligible to use a subsidiary title associated with his father, such as Earl of Dumbarton, Harry and Meghan declined, citing a desire for privacy and normalcy. On the surface, this appeared voluntary, but critics argue the distinction created a formal record that could later justify permanent exclusion from royal titles. This fueled speculation that the palace was not merely honoring parental wishes, but quietly preparing for a future in which Archie's princely status could be denied altogether. In a monarchy, titles and legitimacy are deeply intertwined, and while removing a title would not automatically remove Archie from the line of succession, it would weaken his symbolic and political standing. Currently sixth in line, behind King Charles, Prince William, and William's 3 children, Archie's position represents potential ambiguity the institution may wish to eliminate. From an institutional perspective, consolidating succession around Prince William's line restores clarity. From a public perspective, it raises profound ethical and constitutional questions. Skeptics argue the slimmed-down monarchy narrative functions as a protective shield, reframing exclusion as modernization rather than confrontation, and when questioned about why Harry's children appear disproportionately affected, palace defenders point to protocol. Yet the monarchy has endured for centuries by tightly controlling hierarchy and legitimacy, and when either is threatened, it responds decisively. This context casts a new light on earlier events, including the Sandringham crisis of January 2020, when Harry and Meghan announced their intention to step back as senior working royals without prior coordination with palace leadership, triggering emergency talks convened by Queen Elizabeth II. The outcome stripped the couple of Her Royal Highness usage, public funding, military patronages, and official representation, culminating in their relocation first to Canada and then California. Their unprecedented voluntary withdrawal exposed internal fractures previously concealed, sparked intense media backlash, and sharply eroded public approval in the UK. Matters escalated further in March 21, when Harry and Meghan's televised interview with Oprah Winfrey introduced allegations of racism, emotional neglect, and institutional indifference, permanently altering public perception and deepening suspicion that the monarchy's subsequent structural changes were not merely about modernization, but about drawing an unmistakable line between the crown and Prince Harry's family. Meghan claimed that there were conversations about Archie's skin color before his birth, while Harry stated that his family had cut him off financially and that he felt trapped within an institutional system he could not escape, allegations that were delivered to a global audience during a televised interview watched by millions. Buckingham Palace issued a rare and carefully worded response, acknowledging that concerns had been raised while disputing how events were remembered, a statement that did little to stem the impact on the monarchy's public image, particularly among younger audiences and international viewers. Prince William publicly rejected any suggestion of racism, stating the family was very much not racist, but the damage to the brothers' relationship was evident and long-lasting. In 2022, the couple escalated their narrative with a Netflix documentary series that included private messages, personal footage, and pointed criticism of royal operations, media alliances, and internal family dynamics, followed by Harry's memoir, Spare, which alleged physical altercations, emotional distance, and deliberate media manipulation by senior royals. While the book became a global bestseller, it also intensified backlash in the UK, and although public sympathy initially existed, repeated disclosures led to audience fatigue and growing accusations that the couple was monetising grievance. Institutionally, the monarchy responded by tightening communication protocols, reducing informal contact, and limiting public acknowledgement of the Sussexes, a shift most visibly reflected during Queen Elizabeth II's Platinum Jubilee and funeral, where Harry and Meghan attended but were clearly separated from the core working royals. Security became another flashpoint when Harry, after losing publicly funded protection, pursued legal action against the UK government, arguing that his risk profile remained high due to his status and military service, a claim rejected by the Home Office on the grounds that security is determined by role rather than birthright. As of now, Harry and Meghan remain in the United States, raising their children outside royal life, pursuing private ventures, and engaging selectively in public advocacy, while family relationships remain strained, with Harry acknowledging limited contact with his father and brother and Meghan remaining largely estranged from her own family. Since leaving the institution they said confined them, questions persist over whether they have truly rebuilt their lives or remain tethered to the monarchy they sought to escape. After relocating to the US, the couple pursued financial independence through commercial ventures in media, publishing, and advocacy, signing major deals with Netflix and Spotify that marked a clear transition from royal patronage to private enterprise. A Netflix docuseries Harry and Meghan, released in December 2022, drew massive global viewership and reinforced their commercial viability when focused on autobiographical storytelling, while Spare shattered first-day sales records and became one of the fastest-selling non-fiction titles in recent history, delivering financial success alongside reputational strain. Audio ventures proved less sustainable, with Archie Audio producing limited output and Spotify ending its partnership in 2023 due to unmet production expectations, according to industry reporting. Beyond media, Harry continued philanthropic and advocacy work, most notably through the Invictus Games and his role as Chief Impact Officer at BetterUp, aligning himself with mental health and corporate wellness initiatives, while Meghan shifted toward lifestyle branding, announcing her 2024 venture American Riviera Orchard, signaling an ongoing effort to redefine their public identities beyond the royal framework. The project emphasized domestic aesthetics, wellness, and personal curation, rather than overt royal association, and subsequent adjustments to branding and rollout strategy reflected an effort to stabilize and refine its commercial direction, though not all initiatives gained traction. Several Archie Foundation projects drew criticism for limited transparency and slow execution, with media commentary questioning whether the organization's measurable impact aligned with its stated ambitions, while public perception surveys indicated declining enthusiasm for joint Sussex-branded content centered on grievance-driven narratives. By 2025, reporting suggested a strategic recalibration, with Harry and Meghan increasingly pursuing distinct professional paths rather than positioning themselves as a single commercial brand. Harry focused on veterans' causes, mental health advocacy, speaking engagements, and institutional partnerships, while Meghan shifted toward lifestyle entrepreneurship, selective media production, and brand building largely detached from royal controversy, a move that reflected both commercial realities and evolving audience dynamics. Industry observers noted that joint projects tied to ongoing royal conflict were yielding diminishing returns, whereas individual ventures allowed each to build credibility in separate markets, reduce reputational risk, and broaden revenue potential, resulting in a model where collaboration through Archie became more selective and pragmatic. Against this backdrop, questions resurfaced about how the couple would manage public scrutiny surrounding their children, particularly following the birth of Lilibet Diana Mountbatten Windsor on June 4, 2021, at Santa Barbara Hospital in California, a birth announced privately later that day by Archie. Although the couple released no immediate hospital photographs, speculation once again followed, culminating years later when Meghan posted an 80-second Instagram video to mark Lilibet's 4th birthday, filmed in a hospital room and showing her heavily pregnant, dancing alongside Prince Harry to the so-called baby mama dance, accompanied by a caption explaining that both children were overdue and that dancing was a last resort after other methods failed. While the post appeared intended to counter lingering rumors about her pregnancies, it instead reignited online scrutiny, with critics questioning the appearance of her baby bump, the physical feasibility of dancing late in pregnancy, and even the timing of the trend itself. Arguments echoed and amplified across social media and tabloid commentary. Additional posts, including an anniversary mood board featuring an ultrasound image and a photograph of her bare bump, were similarly dissected by anonymous users who alleged inconsistencies without evidence, fueling renewed calls from critics for definitive proof and framing the issue as a broader institutional concern for the monarchy. For someone who has spoken openly about the emotional toll of online harassment, the persistence of these claims underscored the difficulty of escaping speculation once it takes hold, regardless of context or explanation. As the Sussexes continue to build lives outside the royal framework while remaining tethered to public attention, debate persists not only about their relationship with the palace, but about how legitimacy, privacy, credibility are negotiated in the modern monarchy. Do you believe the Sussex children are royal by blood? And what is your view on how the palace has handled its separation from Harry and his family? Share your thoughts in the comments. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and click the next video on your screen to continue the discussion.